Never bet against an actor from Cobra Kai in a fight. Chances are you'll be losing your money. Skilled martial artists who performed most of their stunts by themselves are likely to beat you black and blue in a showdown. In this video, we'll be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly from the dangerous scenes the actors had to be a part of throughout creating this show. First of all, actors performed their own stunts. The action sequences, nail-biting fight sequences, and perfectly timed kicks and punches are what make Cobra Kai the action-filled, intense show that it is. The commitment of the actors is pivotal in making the stunts seem natural and as real as possible. In the beginning, many of the actors did not have any prior martial arts experience and had to learn the skill from scratch. Naturally sore muscles and bruises came with the job description. All the actors trained rigorously for the fight sequences, spending months learning martial arts. In most cases, actors performed their own stunts, with a stunt double filling in only where it was too dangerous to be doing it on their own. Commitment to putting on a great show meant actors had to endure minor to major physical injuries. Ralph Macchio, who plays one of the lead characters, Daniel LaRusso, mentioned in an interview the training and practice that went into perfecting each fight scene. The actor mentioned, while stunt doubles were present, most scenes were performed by the actors themselves. I gave an injury report to the stunt team. I sort of feel like an NFL coach on a Monday morning after Sunday, saying, Macchio is day-to-day with a right hamstring pull. He can turn 30% to the right, but the left side can't. They actually tailor the fight scenes to my strengths and make me look great. While some jobs list broken limbs and twisted ankles as occupational hazards, for the cast of Cobra Kai, it was basically a part of the job description. Up next, the close call. Jacob Bertrand, who plays Eli Hawk, much like most of his co-stars on the show, did most of his stunts himself, with one exception. Every other kick, punch, and tackle was carried out by the actor himself, with one exception. His character and Cobra Kai nemesis would go neck to neck, no puns intended, in Season 4's entirely choreographed fight sequence. Eli Hawk would wrap his neck around his opponent's head and neck, a stunt that the crew and producers deemed absolutely unacceptable for the young star to perform himself. The fight coordinator on the show, Don Lee, did not permit actors Jacob and Thomas to tackle each other to the ground at risk of serious injury. Too many things could backfire, resulting in serious injury to the actor and setting a halt on the production schedule. Fortunately, a professional stuntman took on the task and delivered the memorable scene safely and effortlessly. And now, broken arms and busted noses. Practice doesn't always make perfect. Sometimes, despite all the precautions and preparation, bad luck becomes the reason you go home limping. The process of filming the gritty martial arts scenes was itself dangerous at times, let alone the actual final shot. Twisted and broken limbs, while shooting a show centered around martial arts, come with the territory. However, in the case of Zolo Maraduena, even the warm-up sessions didn't fare so well. The actor, not once, but twice, landed himself in the ER, on one occasion with a broken arm and the other his nose, while rehearsing a scene with Ralph Macchio that was to be performed alongside John Kreese. Maraduena slipped on a rug and wound up with a fractured wrist. Just when Maraduena thought the worst was over, he was met with another on-set mishap. In another instance, production had to be halted for 5 weeks as the actor fractured his nose while accidentally running into a chair in a corridor on set. Talk about bad luck. And now, Mary Mauser's high heels disaster. What's a prom after party without a catfight? In the infamous prom after party scene, Tori and Samantha battle it out, but not on the dance floor. However, the clicking of heels wasn't the only sound heard on set that day. Actress Mary Mauser dislocated her thumb in a fight scene against co-actor Peyton List. As if a fight scene isn't risky enough, the actress performed this scene in the real weapons of destruction, high heels. Additionally, the wet, slippery concrete on which the scene was shot made a recipe for disaster. While shooting this scene, List tripped on her heels and fell directly onto Mauser, causing her to break her thumb. The sound of a pop against the clacking of heels was noticed by a stuntman who rushed to help her and snapped her thumb back into place, and the show went on. on. Did you ever go to college or high school party that started at someone's house and ended up on a hospital bed? Coming up, good luck, bad luck. Up next is the sequel. Mary Mouser and Peyton List go up against each other more than once in the course of the show. Mouser's luck seems to be one of the most unpredictable things in the show. This time, Mouser was luckier and walked away from set with only a cool story to tell and not a visit to the ER. In their infamous high school corridor fight scene from season 2, Mouser's reflexes kicked in at just the right time. The fight scene was difficult to pull off not only because it was shot entirely indoors, but also the sheer number of people involved in the sequence. List hurls a kick to the head towards Mouser, which, much to her own surprise, she dodges perfectly. However, in the shooting of the same fight sequence, the actress's luck ran out as she ended up with a messed up hand and a trip to the ER. She unsafely landed on 3 of her fingers, bending them and being stuck with a bandaged hand for the rest of shooting. In an interview, the artist commented that she's suffered several injuries from shooting the stunts on the show, most of which were her own doing. She also mentions that if you look closely, you'll notice scenes from the show where 3 of her fingers will be taped up from an injury she's suffered. What's a time when you got really lucky and really unlucky all at once? Up next, not your average house party. Don't we all remember a party from high school that ended up being a complete mess? Well, we doubt any story can come close to this one. Cobra Kai is known for its intense stunts, complex fight scenes, and martial arts fight sequences. In this scene, the team took the spirit of the show to another level by having not one, but multiple fight sequences going on side by side. The big La Rouse House showdown of season 3 was not only incredibly dangerous to shoot, but a challenge to execute in the first place. An indoor fight scene meant that a lot more could go wrong. With dozens of teenagers going at each other, a lot more could break, shatter, and fall. The big fight sequence was initially intended to be shot outdoors, but due to bad weather, last-minute changes had to be made. Shifting the scene indoors meant a lot more things that could go wrong. Tight corridors, furniture, and pots and pans meant that a lot more items fell onto or were damaged during a fight sequence. The production team had to be extra careful in designing the set and planning out various movements to ensure the scene looked coherent and no one got hurt shooting it. In the end, it was all worth it. What became a nightmare to pull off for the production team brought some iconic shots to the show. Up next, I Believe I Can Fly. We're convinced the only thing that the cast of Cobra Kai can't do was sprout wings and take flight. No matter how complicated the stunt, the actors on the show did not shy away from a challenge. However, when that challenge becomes the force of gravity itself, things get a bit complicated. Mary Mouser's scene where she jumps from one building to another, channeling all her parkour skills, was in fact done by a professional stuntwoman. With no harness and a large distance to cover, the actress's stunt double performed this remarkable scene, as it was way too dangerous to be performed by an amateur. And lastly, body slam gone wrong. While it may be entertaining to see 2 actors' bodies clap together, the state of the actor's muscles immediately after is best left to the imagination. Naturally, the busted nose or twisted ankle is unsurprising when not performed by professional stuntmen. Take it from William Zabka, who landed in the hospital with a twisted ankle from a poorly landed body slam scene in the popular martial arts show. In a scene between Martin Kove and William Zabka, Kove's character slams Zabka's character and slams him against a wall during a fight sequence. This scene was performed by the actors themselves, and because neither was a professionally trained stuntman, Zabka landed on his foot, twisting it, landing him a visit to the emergency room. In many cases, accidents and injuries could have been avoided had stunt doubles completely taken over the action sequences. But to show a more authentic performance, the actors took on the task themselves. To wrap it up, kids, don't do any of this at home. Whether it was jumping from buildings, throwing punches, or intense martial arts sequences, not a single actor made it without twisting or breaking at least one limb. The commitment of the production team, actors, and stunt doubles make Cobra Kai the intense action-packed show it is. Which moment did you think was the most dangerous, and which one surprised you the most? That's all for this video. If you liked what you saw and want more similar content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more.